Have you ever wondered what happens when the wisest man in the world makes the most foolish mistakes? We all know King Solomon, the man blessed by God with unparalleled wisdom. He built the magnificent temple in Jerusalem, ushered in a golden age of peace and prosperity for Israel, and his name became synonymous with justice and insight. His story is one of incredible highs, but there's another side to Solomon's tale, a side that's often glossed over, a story of 1,000 women, a divided heart, and a kingdom on the brink of collapse. This isn't just ancient history, it's a powerful lesson about human nature, the subtle dangers of compromise, and how even the greatest among us can fall. Let's unravel the tragic story of Solomon's decline. A story that begins not with a bang, but with a wedding. To understand Solomon's fall, we first have to appreciate his rise. Imagine being the son of the legendary King David. The expectations were immense. When God appeared to a young Solomon in a dream and offered him anything he desired, Solomon didn't ask for riches, long life, or victory over his enemies. He asked for a discerning heart, for wisdom to govern his people, and to distinguish between right and wrong. God was so pleased with this selfless request that he gave Solomon not only wisdom but also wealth and honor unlike any king before or after him. And Solomon put that wisdom to work. The famous story of the two women claiming the same baby. That was Solomon. His judgment was legendary. Under his rule, Israel flourished. The kingdom was secure. Trade routes were established. And the crowning achievement of his reign, the magnificent temple to God, was built in Jerusalem. It was a time of unprecedented peace and prosperity. It seemed like nothing could go wrong. Solomon had it all: divine favor, incredible wisdom, and a loyal nation. He was at the pinnacle of his power. But even at the height of his glory, the seeds of his downfall were being planted. It all started with politics, as it so often does. In the ancient world, royal marriages were strategic alliances. Marrying a princess from a neighboring kingdom was like signing a treaty. It secured borders, opened up trade, and created a network of powerful allies. Solomon's first major political marriage was to the daughter of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. This was a massive political statement. Egypt was a superpower, and this union brought Israel immense prestige and security. From a purely political standpoint, it was a brilliant move. And it didn't stop there. To solidify his kingdom's influence and maintain peace, Solomon began to marry women from all the surrounding nations: Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonians, and Hittites. On the surface, it looked like masterful diplomacy. Solomon was weaving a web of peace across the entire region, ensuring stability for his people. The Bible tells us he eventually had 700 wives of royal birth and 300 concubines, 1,000 women. It's a number that's hard to even comprehend, but each marriage, while politically savvy, came with a hidden cost, a compromise that would slowly eat away at the foundation of his faith in his kingdom. The problem wasn't the marriages themselves, but what came with them. These foreign wives brought their own cultures, their own customs, and most importantly, their own gods. The law given to Israel through Moses was crystal clear. Do not intermarry with these nations, because they will surely turn your hearts after their gods. It was a spiritual warning. For a while, Solomon seemed to hold firm. He had built the temple, the one true place of worship for the God of Israel. But imagine the pressure. A beloved wife from Sidon, missing the traditions of her homeland, asks for a small shrine to her goddess. Another wife from Moab wants to offer a sacrifice to her god Chemosh. What's the harm in a small privat altar? It's just to make them feel at home, right? It's a gesture of love and tolerance. This is where Solomon's wisdom failed him. Instead of standing firm, he began to compromise. He loved his wives, and in his desire to please them, he began to accommodate their religious practices. The man who built the great temple for the one true God began building high places, pagan altars, on the hills around Jerusalem. He built a place for Chemosh, the detestable god of Moab, and for Molech, the detestable god of the Ammonites. He did this for all his foreign wives who burned incense and offered sacrifices to their gods. The wisest man in the world was making a catastrophically foolish choice. His heart, once wholly devoted to God, was now divided. He was trying to serve two masters, or in his case, hundreds of them. The consequences were not immediate. but they were inevitable. God had blessed Solomon on the condition of his obedience. Now, Solomon had openly disobeyed. The Bible says that the Lord became angry with Solomon because his heart had turned away. The divine favor that had defined his reign began to lift. The peace and security he had worked so hard to build through his political marriages started to crumble. God told Solomon directly, "Since this is your attitude and you have not kept my covenant and my decrees, which I commanded you, I will most certainly tear the kingdom away from you and give it to one of your subordinates." However, for the sake of his father, David, God promised not to do it during Solomon's lifetime. But the cracks were already showing. Adversaries began to rise up against Solomon, men who had previously been no threat. Hadad the Edomite, a royal survivor from a nation David had conquered, stirred up trouble from Egypt. Rezon in Damascus became a long-term adversary, harassing Israel's northern border, and most significantly, an internal threat emerged. A man named Jeroboam, one of Solomon's own capable officials. The prophet Ahijah met Jeroboam, and, in a dramatic symbolic act, tore a new cloak into 12 pieces, giving 10 to Jeroboam. This symbolized that God was going to tear 10 tribes of Israel away from Solomon's son and give them to Jeroboam. The United Kingdom, Solomon's greatest inheritance, was destined to be fractured. As Solomon grew old, the vibrancy of his early reign was gone. The kingdom, though still outwardly magnificent, was rotting from within. The massive building projects, including the palaces for his many wives and the altars for their gods, required immense resources. Heavy taxes and forced labor were imposed on the people, creating widespread resentment. The unity of the 12 tribes, so carefully managed by David, was straining under the weight of Solomon's excesses. The man who started by asking for a discerning heart to govern his people was now oppressing them to fund a lifestyle of indulgence and idolatry. His divided heart had led to a divided nation. When Solomon finally died, his son Rehoboam took the throne. The people came to Rehoboam with a simple request: "Lighten the harsh labor and heavy yoke your father put on us." There was a chance to heal the nation, but Rehoboam, ignoring the advice of the wise elders who had served his father, listened to his young, arrogant friends. He famously answered, "My father made your yoke heavy. I will make it even heavier. My father scourged you with whips. I will scourge you with scorpions." That was the final straw. The 10 northern tribes revolted, rejecting the house of David and making Jeroboam their king, just as the prophet had foretold. The glorious united kingdom of David and Solomon was shattered, split into 2 rival nations, Israel in the north and Judah in the south. They would never be truly united again. All the peace, all the prosperity, all the glory gone. It was all lost because the wisest man in the world forgot the most important wisdom of all: to love the Lord your God with all your heart. So what can we learn from Solomon's tragic story? It's a powerful reminder that no one is immune to temptation, no matter how wise, gifted, or blessed they are. Solomon didn't wake up one day and decide to abandon his faith. It was a slow fade, a series of small compromises made out of love, politics, and a desire to please everyone. He tried to compartmentalize his life, keeping his public faith in God while allowing private paganism in his home. But a divided heart cannot stand. His story is a warning against the danger of just a little bit. Just one small compromise, just one little exception. It's these small drifts that can lead us far from where we intended to go. It teaches us about the importance of finishing well. Solomon started his race with incredible promise, but he stumbled badly before the finish line. His legacy is forever tainted. He is remembered not just as the wise king who built the temple, but also as the foolish king whose idolatry tore the kingdom apart. It's a sobering reminder that our choices have consequences, not just for ourselves, but for generations to come. Solomon's story isn't just a piece of ancient history, it's a mirror. It forces us to ask ourselves, where are we compromising? What are the foreign gods we are allowing into our lives to please others or to make things easier? Is our heart truly undivided? Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Let's talk about it in the comments below.